as Patty mentioned, I was based in Moscow in the late 90s through to the beginning of the Putin era. And what really struck me was how quickly and so rapidly the country just slid into an authoritarian state. And this play has brought back some memories of just how it was at the beginning when there still was a semblance of democracy, and just how quickly everything changed under Putin in terms of no tolerance of a free press or dissent. And in the late 90s, there still was a very robust critical media that existed there, and you could report fairly transparently, with some exceptions. Chechnya was always a very complicated place to report in, but even there at that time, at least during the first Chechen War, you had a certain degree of latitude in terms of documenting what was going on, and that all stopped under Putin. And the crackdowns on immediate, on independent newsrooms and voices began almost immediately, and one by one, journalists lost their jobs, they faced death threats, they were beaten, and like Anna, murdered. And to date, 17 journalists have been assassinated since Putin came to power. And there were three, when was it in the Central African Republic? There were 3 hits done just a month or 2 ago. 3 Russian journalists were investigating Russian mercenaries in the Central African Republic, and they were died under what looked like circumstances, hits ordered by the Russian authorities. So it's still going on. 2 people were murdered last year that were journalists. And it's just the turning point for a lot of people was Anna's death. It was probably the most high-profile murder of a journalist at that point. That was in 2006. And since then, there have been about 60 violent attacks on journalists, on other journalists, including the deaths that I mentioned. And I mean, I don't think any of us expect that to stop at any point. So it's very unfortunate, and the phrase "enemies of the people," which came up in the play, we hear at home, and it just causes one to reflect about, hopefully we're not going to go down that path, but there's certain echoes of what's happening there that are very disturbing that are now being repeated here, although nothing as severe.